In 2025, a silent crisis is unfolding in gun shops nationwide. Rifle calibers that once defined hunting and sport shooting are vanishing from shelves without a whisper of goodbye. But here's the secret few dare to admit. Some of these forgotten rounds still hold unmatched power and charm that modern calibers can't touch. Today we're unearthing 7 disappearing rifle calibers and revealing if they're worth hunting down before they're lost forever. Hit subscribe now. Don't miss your shot at history. Number 7. 220 Swift, the Velocity Vanguard. When Winchester unleashed the 220 Swift in 1935, it shattered expectations as the first commercial cartridge to exceed 4,000 feet per second, propelling a 48-grain bullet at 4,110 feet per second with 1,800 foot-pounds of energy. Varmint hunters marveled as it dropped coyotes, foxes, and prairie dogs at ranges once thought impossible, often beyond 300 yards with pinpoint precision. This wasn't just a cartridge, it was a revolution, cementing its legend as a precision annihilator in the hands of early 20th century marksmen. Its downfall came with brutal barrel wear. Early rifles often burned out after just 1,000 rounds due to the intense pressures and velocities involved. The rise of the .22-250 Remington in the 1960s, which matched speeds, around 4,000 FPs with a 50-grain bullet, with less wear and wider ammo support, further eroded its dominance. Today at $800 to $1,200 for vintage rifles like the Winchester Model 70, the 220 Swift is a ghost of its former self. Factory loads are sparse, often limited to specialty runs by companies like Nosler, and modern chamberings are rare outside of custom builds or rebarreled classics. For reloaders and collectors, the 220 Swift is a thrilling relic of ballistic innovation, still deadly for varmint control if you maintain the barrel with careful load management and regular cleaning. Its historical significance as a pioneer of high-velocity shooting adds allure for those passionate about firearms evolution. But for everyday shooters seeking practicality, the .22-250 or newer 6mm ARC offers more accessible ammo and broader modern rifle selections. Speed pioneers are fading, but wait until you see the next velocity icon that time buried. Number 6. 253,000 Savage, the Forgotten Sprint King. In 1915, the 253,000 Savage roared onto the scene as the first commercial cartridge to hit 3,000 feet per second, firing an 87-grain bullet at 3,030 feet per second with 1,700 foot-pounds of energy. Designed specifically for the Savage Model 99 lever-action rifle, it gave hunters a swift, hard-hitting round for deer and antelope with gentler recoil than larger calibers of the era like the .30-30 Winchester. Priced at $600 to $900 for vintage rifles today, it remains a tangible piece of pioneering spirit. Its eclipse came with the 1950s debut of the .243 Winchester, boasting superior long-range ballistics, 100-grain bullet at 2,960 feet per second, a higher ballistic coefficient, and broader rifle options across multiple manufacturers. The 253,000, tied primarily to the Model 99, couldn't compete with the growing standardization of bolt-action platforms. Now factory ammo is a rarity, often limited to small batch productions by companies like Hornady, and modern chamberings are virtually extinct outside collector pieces. Snagging a Model 99 in 253,000 is a collector's coup, blending history with usable hunting power for medium game at ranges up to 200 yards. Its low recoil makes it a joy to shoot. Yet for active hunters needing reliability and supply ease, the .243 Winchester or 6.5 Creedmoor provide far better access to ammo and modern rifles. Early speed kings are slipping away, but the next caliber's bold Magnum vision never ignited. Number 5. 264 Winchester Magnum, the overlooked Long Ranger. Winchester rolled out the 264 Winchester Magnum in 1959, aiming to eclipse the 270 Winchester with scorching velocity, a 140-grain bullet at 3,030 feet per second, delivering 2,850 foot-pounds of energy. Marketed as a long-range hunter's dream for deer, elk, and pronghorn, it promised to flatten trajectories at distances where others faltered, often maintaining supersonic speeds beyond 500 yards. With vintage rifles now at $800 to $1,200 when found, often in classic Winchester Model 70s, it was poised to dominate the Magnum market. Its stumble was immediate. Winchester opted for lighter bullets, 100 to 140 grains. that floundered on larger game against Remington's 7mm Magnum with heavier, higher ballistic coefficient loads, 160 to 175 grains at 2,950 feet per second, offering better wind resistance and terminal performance. Factory ammo is now elusive, often limited to specialty reloads by companies like Nosler, and modern chamberings are sparse. Reloaders can still tap the .264 Win Mag's flat-shooting prowess for long-range hunting, especially with hand-loaded heavier bullets for game up to elk size at 400+ yards. It's a sleeper hit for dedicated enthusiasts. But most hunters will find the 6.5 PRC or 7mm Remington Magnum more practical with robust modern support. Magnum visions can dim, but the next caliber's raw power deserved far more spotlight. Number 4. 358 Winchester, the Timber Titan. Launched in 1955, the .358 Winchester was a stroke of genius, necking up the .308 Winchester to fire .35 caliber bullets, like a 200 grain round at 2,490 feet per second, with 2,700 foot-pounds of energy, at $500 to $600 for used rifles, often in Winchester Model 94s, or Savage 99s. It was a compact powerhouse for elk, moose, and bears in dense woods, excelling at close to medium ranges under 200 yards. Its design offered heavier bullets with superior stopping power compared to the .308's typical 150 grain loads. Its obscurity stems from Winchester's lackluster marketing and niche appeal. With hunters loyal to .30-06 or .270 Winchester, the .358 never gained traction. Today, factory ammo is scarce, often limited to small runs by Hornady or Winchester's nostalgia batches, and new chamberings are nearly non-existent outside vintage platforms. If you stalk game in thick timber with short shots, the .358 Winchester's stopping power is still unrivaled for its size. A true hidden gem for hunters facing tough game in close quarters. But for wider ammo access and modern rifle options, the .338 Federal or .35 Whelen are safer bets. Timber Titans are vanishing, but the next caliber's balanced brilliance was tragically ignored. Number 3. .280 Remington, the middle ground marvel. Introduced in 1957, the .280 Remington sought to bridge the .270 Winchester and .30-06, firing a 150 grain bullet at 2,890 feet per second with 2,780 foot-pounds of energy. At $800 to $1,100 for rifles when available, often in Remington 700s or Winchester Model 70s, it delivered flatter trajectories than the .30-06, 180 grain at 2,700 feet per second, and more bullet weight options than the .270, 130 grain at 3,060 feet per second, crafting a versatile hunting round for deer to elk. Its ballistic sweet spot made it ideal for varied game and ranges. Remington's marketing misstep, positioning it as a minor .270 tweak, doomed its rise. It never captured widespread interest against entrenched competitors. Today, factory ammo is limited compared to modern calibers, often found only in specialty shops, and rifle options are dwindling as manufacturers prioritize newer rounds. The .280 Remington shines as an all-around hunting caliber, especially for reloaders unlocking its potential with custom loads for game up to 400 yards. A diamond in the rough for versatile shooters. But for easier access and broader support, the 6.5 Creedmoor or .280 AI, Ackley improved, are far more practical. Balance marvels fade quietly, but the next vintage round's compact punch couldn't survive. Number 2. .300 Savage, the short-action stalwart. Debuting in 1920, the .300 Savage pioneered short-action power before the .308 Winchester, launching a 150 grain bullet at 2,630 feet per second with 2,304 foot-pounds of energy. At $600 to $800 for vintage rifles, primarily the iconic Savage Model 99 lever action, it became a deer and elk hunter's favorite, blending solid performance with reduced recoil in a compact package compared to the longer .30-06. Its design allowed for lighter, handier rifles ideal for stalking game in varied terrain. The 1952 arrival of the .308 Winchester, with similar ballistics, 150 grain at 2,800 feet per second, and military endorsement, overshadowed it. The .308's adoption by NATO made it the go-to short-action round. Now, .300 Savage ammo is rare, often limited to small batch runs by Hornady, and modern chamberings are almost exclusively in vintage rifles. A Savage 99 and 300 Savage is a collector's prize with historical weight and usable power for medium game at ranges up to 250 yards. Its compact design suits hunters valuing maneuverability. But for practical shooting with modern rifles and abundant ammo, the .308 Winchester dominates. Short-action pioneers are nearly gone, but the ultimate lever-action legend's loss cuts deepest. Number 1. .348 Winchester, the brush-busting behemoth. Unveiled in 1936 for the Winchester Model 71 lever-action rifle, the .348 Winchester was a colossus for big game, driving a 200-grain bullet at 2,520 feet per second with 2,820 foot-pounds of energy. At $1,000 to $1,500 for vintage rifles, it crushed bear, moose, and elk in thick brush, ideal for close-range hunting with unmatched authority. Unlike the more common .30-30 Winchester, 170 grain at 2,200 feet per second, the .348 delivered nearly double the energy, making it a favorite for hunters facing dangerous game in tight quarters where a single shot had to count. Its demise was tied to the Model 71's discontinuation in 1958, limiting rifle availability. No major manufacturer picked up the caliber for new designs, leaving it orphaned. With scarce factory ammo, often only available through specialty reloaders or small runs by Winchester, and no modern chamberings, the .348 Winchester is nearly extinct outside collector vaults. For lever-action devotees or collectors, a Model 71 and .348 Winchester is a historical titan, with raw close-range power for big game, capable of dropping a charging bear at 100 yards. Its legacy as a brush-busting giant makes it a must-have for vintage firearm enthusiasts. But for practical hunting with accessible gear, modern lever-action calibers like .45-70 Government provide better ammo support. These 7 rifle calibers, once cornerstones of the hunting and shooting landscape, are teetering on the brink of oblivion. Their decline often stems from shifting market demands, rising manufacturing costs, or the dominance of more versatile modern rounds rather than any inherent flaws. Yet their twilight offers a rare chance to seize something extraordinary. Rounds like the .280 Remington's balanced versatility or the .358 Winchester's raw punch still hold unique strengths for savvy hunters and reloaders willing to seek them out. Others, such as the .220 Swift and .348 Winchester, embody a bygone era of ballistic innovation that collectors can't resist. Don't let history slip through your fingers. As ammo stocks dwindle and rifles become relics, the window to claim these calibers, whether for performance or posterity, is closing fast. Decide now if their legacy or niche edge fits your arsenal before they're lost to time. Which of these calibers intrigues you most? Have you fired any of them? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this deep dive sparked your interest or saved you from missing out, hit that like button, subscribe for more data-driven firearm insights, and ring that notification bell to stay ahead of the curve on disappearing classics.